Welcome back to America's Backroads. In today's video, we're going to be seeing a historic downtown, but I suspect unlike any that you have ever seen before. I've never seen one like it. I grew up as a young boy traveling with my family, crisscrossing the country, seeing all kinds of small towns, and I still have a fondness for them through many parts of the country that I will never forget. And I enjoy this series because I get to redo some of these, some of my favorite places, some places that I've heard of that I honestly have never been to. But I've been to this place before a few times, just driven through on the street. And there's a couple of streets down there. This is a historic downtown Johnson City. And to understand a little bit about it, you have to understand how Johnson City got started. Johnson City got started by the railroads. A railroad executive saw the area and he says, I want to put a depot here. And he thought it was a good idea. And he was right, because within just a few years, 3 railroads were in Johnson City. And it became a mecca of the 1880s. In 1856, he founded that depot. Later on, it would become known as Johnson City. But the reality of it is that it was just a depot to get started in 1856, which is kind of interesting because areas like Jonesboro and Bluntville and numerous other communities in this area had long been established. They were roaring. Johnson City has 70,000 people, but it's not the county seat. Jonesboro is. It's a much smaller community, at least by appearance, and I'm sure in every other way. So they're all in Jonesboro and Johnson City are both in Washington County. And it's a nice area. Now, if you look at Johnson City overall, it's a wonderful town. But it's like a lot of other wonderful towns out there. They've got your Walmarts. They've got Home Depot and Lowe's. Every chain practically you can think of. A lot of mom and pop stores. I love those. But the downtown is unique. It's not like any other downtown. Because in 1880, they started building the downtown, or 1880s, they started building the downtown. But they didn't build it out of wood and like you would think in many areas in Tennessee. They built it out of brick. Solid as solid as could be. I was going to say solid as a rock, but that's basically what it is. And this community is like you would envision a major city to be anywhere, maybe on a slightly smaller scale, but it was a major city of its day. And so you had these storefronts on the bottom, and I've only spent maybe about 5 minutes there. I've driven through like twice on the main street. And you have these storefronts on the bottom, which some, I believe, are still not being used. And then you have what I believe to be offices upstairs that could be residential, but I don't think so. I think there were offices upstairs. In the 1880s, this was a big thing. And so you have these buildings which are not totally skyscrapers, but they have the appearance of skyscrapers. Perhaps, 4 or 5 floors. I really don't remember, to be honest. And some wise businesses have found this and decided that's where they want to be. And I know there's a restaurant or two down there that's, in my opinion, from just driving by, is very much upscale. But the whole surroundings are so impressive. And I know with time that this area will grow to be a phenomenal place. But it'll lose a little bit of the feeling of the 1900s thereabouts when that happens, because it'll be, trendy and all of those things. Right now, I can't honestly say it's trendy. It is just darn cool. And that's why I would like to travel there. And I've decided on picking some roads to go there that are really going to be fun. one of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna go through a one-lane. I can't call it a bridge. It's an underpass. I think the railroad goes over it, and I think it says on it that it was built in 1911. And there's a light there, and you have to wait until the other cars are not coming. There's a three-way intersection, and you go underneath the bridge, and I think that's so bloody cool. I always love it. It gives me a really warm feeling every time. I always smile when I'm going through there. So I hope you enjoyed the trip with me. I think you're going to find this downtown to be historically significant and very special. And I don't think there's any other downtown anywhere that I have seen that looks like this. There must be some out there, but I've never seen one. So if you will, come along with me for the ride. I know I'm going to have a great time, and I trust you will as well. Let's get on the road. Okay, here we go. I don't know how much noise we're going to get out of all of this. I'm sure you heard that. I'm going to put up the windows here a little bit because cut down some outside noise, although today's a little warm. The last time I did a video, it was started off in the 50s and dropped from there. Today it's in the high 70s, so be a little more comfy with the window down, but I think for the sake of the audio, I'm going to leave it up. I don't know exactly how much difference it'll make. Maybe some. So, look at this beautiful, I don't know if you can see that barn on the left. It's not really old, but still nice. This area is changing quickly. A lot of the farms are kind of going away. And it's kind of sad. One of my favorite roads that I like to travel, it was my favorite for certain when I first ran across to eastern Tennessee with the consideration of living here, is now major developments all the way along the road, and that definitely has an effect. And yet you can't ask people not to move here. People like it here for lots of reasons, and they're getting away from places that they don't like. And you can't deny them that they should be here, no more than somebody should be able to deny that I should be here. Tennessee's a wonderful place, and but it is changing. It is becoming more citified, and I don't know if that's a word or not, but and I think a lot of the old timers, really feel that way. Old timers and people who have lived here their whole life, they see things changing, but things are changing all over. At least they're not changing as crazy here. Now, coming up here pretty quick, we got this crazy bridge that I was telling you about. Like I say, I think it might technically be an underpass for us. I can take off from 3rd, I guess, huh? Well, anyways, it's stamped on it 1911. And I know someday they're going to take that out, and that'll be a sad day. I know some people don't like it because the fact that you have to wait, and you have to, hope that the person coming the other way stops for red and that kind of stuff. But I think it's really cool. It'd be okay with me if they never change that ever. People don't like it, they can go a different way. Look at these beautiful homes to the left and right here. I mean, some of them, like that one there, belonged to a farm at one time, but others are just like they're people who are wealthy and they live in certain areas, and this is one of the areas that they live in. I don't know, in Tennessee, I want a little bit of land, but some people, they buy places and they don't get too much land. I mean, they're right on top of another. Now, here's a farm over here, and this guy usually has a lot of old tractors out, and I think they're kind of cool. I don't know if he has them out right now, but they're not running tractors. They're like for lawn art or farm art or whatever you want to call it. That's what they are. And you can see one sitting there. I'm sure that does not run. Sometimes he has more than that out. Well, there you go, 25 acres plus or minus for sale. Oh, here's some, this is probably more his property right up here. See the tractors and such. Okay, now here we have our red light. So, and it says no turn on red, and there's a good reason for that, because if you turn on red, you could come into oncoming traffic. This is a one-lane bridge. Okay, does it say 1907? Okay, I thought it was 1911. It may say 1907. So we have to wait patiently, which is only reasonable. I think we'll turn off our signal. I don't think we need that. People are pretty cool, though. I think most people are very patient. You know, we're just starting to get into springtime now. The buds are coming out on some of the trees. Here we go. Here we go. Let's hope there's no one coming, right? My wife does not like this. I think it's so cool. Got this little corner here. And there's civilization up ahead. It's creeping in. And then over on the far right, if you can see it, there's a barn, you know, a big old farm of years past, and there's still a lot of it left. They keep on selling off sections of the farms. So you might start off with 1,000 acres or something, and by the time you pass it off to the next generation, oh, here's a cemetery, probably for that farm or local community. By the time you sell it, you know, or give it to the next generation, it'll have less acres because everyone's pawning off a few of the acres, and I kind of get that, but it's also kind of sad. I mean, they want things, and so, okay, here's your Lowe's and Kohl's, you know. Okay, so we'll probably cut out at about this point because we got some standard city driving to do, and then we'll get back into it when we get into the downtown, which is going to be, I think, a more interesting part of it. Okay, so now we're getting into the older downtown section. You're going to see some interesting buildings. Then we're going to drive through some really cool streets. And hopefully we'll find a nice place to park and do a little walk. Up here on the straight ahead almost, you can see it. Well, it's kind of getting blocked now, but it's Summers Hardware on the side of that building. That sign obviously was written a long time ago. Okay, let's see if I can find these streets now. I'm not sure. This could be them. I just can't be sure. I'm so worried about it. Okay, so this is the old downtown, and you can see these buildings are old. Some of them have been renovated. Here we have a one-way going to the right. I think we'll go. I got this guy behind me blowing his horn when he wants to. One, must be two, must be three. You know, when you're driving an old car like this, people are going to blow their horns at you. And because people are in a hurry and that's all they are thinking about. But when you go to put this in gear, you have to push in the clutch and wait 3 seconds at least before you can put it in first gear. But they don't want you to wait 3 seconds. They just want you to go. They just don't have any understanding, nor do they choose to, of how old cars work. Now, the other times I've been by, there's been a lot of street parking. Now, I don't know the actual, it looks like it's more developed than the last time I was through here. But you can see these buildings, they're really, really old. The People's Bank on the side of that marble or whatever it is on this, that rock up there. It's kind of cool. And over here on the right hand side we have Main Street Pizza Company. We should get out and do a little walking. But see these buildings, like this one right on the corner here. You can look up there. I don't know how many stories it is. We're going to have a chance to get out and there's 2-hour parking here if reserved for handicap. Well, we'll have to spin around here. I don't know how to get, oh, I see. I remember now, we have to get over here. There's a spot right there. Stop it. Here we go. Let's find out. And I'll show you some cool buildings. Okay, so here we are in historic downtown Johnson City. We're going to take a walk around, and we're going to show you some of the buildings that I think are cool and kind of unusual, but still basically very well kept. To me, there's been a big change since I've been here last. There is a lot more going on. When I've been here in the past, there was spots on the street and everything. You have to really look today to find those spots. Here's something kind of interesting. You guys can tell me what it is. It is a place with a roll-up door that's at least 4 feet off the ground. So I don't know what that was once, but it's not been used for that for a very long time. So that's kind of interesting. So let's go ahead. Here's something running around here. Now leasing 1 and 2 bedrooms, so we're going to make it residential. And you can look around here. There's a really cool church. Maybe we'll go check out that in a little bit. It's certainly old. And look at the steeple. Whoa, way up there. You know, thinking about it a little bit, there's probably a lot of great old towns. I just kind of like this one. I kind of liked it even more before because you could see what it once was. And look at this right here. Obviously this is some kind of retail. It's available now. But one time, this was pretty darn cool. Look at the glass coming in here. You know, you look at that and you wonder, is that safety glass? Look how it makes that corner. Check that out. Maybe we can come up to it kind of close and see that. These are all individual pieces of glass here. And so it's kind of interesting. I mean, it needs to be cleaned, and probably a lot more, but the truth of the matter is kind of cool. Now here we look at these bricks. That's why, you know, you make a structure out of bricks and it lasts a long time. This looks like the sewer, but notice how close to the sidewalk it is. There's not a lot of drop there. I would think that's not totally kosher. Oh, look at this. Does this look familiar? What was this all about? Does anybody know? I mean, you can go up there and look. This is a tall building. But look at this. It's like for backing up a truck. But it's on a city street. And then look at this old door. Metal. It's an old metal door. It's tall too. It's not the normal height. You know, I would say, you know, it's an extra foot or so. And look at those hinges. They're kind of beefy. But you can see in time that this will become a very nice area. Taste buds. This looks like it might even be a retirement home over there across the street. And that building certainly isn't new. It's pretty old and it's tall too. I mean, it's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 stories. So it's kind of cool. And you can see that they've got a staff wing up there, and it's obviously I'm gonna guess they're repointing the bricks, but it's kind of cool. I think if I can sneak across here. Hope the police here are not around. Okay, so here's a place called the Studio. I would guess, I don't know, there's that, ooh. Look at that up there. Look at those bricks. See the separation? That needs some love. So, looks like this section has dropped. Yeah. Looks like look right here, how that seems to be lower on the cement, and this section over here seems to be higher. You know. So I think, I don't know if you can see it that well here. Get right back here. There's a big gap in those bricks. I question the safety of that one. That needs some love. They probably had a structural engineer look at it. He probably says it's good for a while. Then this is the People's Bank right here. Obviously a long time ago. 1939, so that gives us a hint. 1939 for that building. Now, look at that brick building. And the cool thing that I always like to look at is the corners and how straight they are. And if the roof line is straight, there's a pigeon or something way up there. I don't know if you can see him on the top, left and center. So if the top is straight, that pretty much means that the foundation is solid. And of course, bricks don't give a great deal. So that's taken into consideration too. Now, at this point in time, you can look at this section of town and it's kind of run down, but I think it has a massive amount of potential, and I think it's kind of cool. Am I kind of like just into old buildings? Yeah, I'm sure that's the case too. Some of you may look at it and say, hey, they're just old buildings, man. Why are you getting so excited about them? I don't know. I just do. I like old. Now, this isn't new. I mean, this isn't old. It's new. But, you know, I kind of like it because they've kept the feeling of the old style. You know, some places haven't. Get a feeling. I mean, it's run down, but someday. I've seen places like this before, and let me know what you think in the comments. Is this just another rundown old buildings and means nothing, or is it worth saving and being nice? Like I say, I liked it when I saw it years ago because it was, I think, more original. Now you can see that some people have come in, and that's good. Here we have an attorney at law. He thinks it's kind of a cool place. Now it's kind of windy here, so if you guys are hearing a lot of wind noise, you know, I've got a windscreen over the mic. It's about what you can do. I mean, sometimes it's windy. Now this is, what was the name of this bank? The Tennessee National Bank. Okay, back in the day. The one thing about Tennessee, which is really kind of cool still, and kind of unusual, they don't have a lot of outside banks. Wells Fargo and Chase and stuff like that, they're not really around here. I think Chase is coming in on a few different banks because they've acquired some other small chains and they've been able to come in. But I think it's rather difficult just to start up a bank in Tennessee. I mean, you can be a national chain, but the People's Community Bank, I don't know if that's active or not. It doesn't look like it. It's got something in the door. Oh, look at that. Now somebody has put stucco over the existing brick, and either the stucco has taken off the brick, a good part of it, or they put the stucco over bad brick. So that's a problem. Absolutely. Let's get up and look at that. That's an issue. It's going to have to be addressed. But a lot of them aren't like that. Like that place over there, the Waltz Theater. I think that's kind of cool. Here's your tattoo place. I kind of admire tattoos. I don't want one, but I kind of admire them. I look, whenever I see somebody with a tattoo that's kind of cool, I ask them about it and talk to them about it. And I've learned a few things about tattoos. Why do you have to protect them from the UV rays and all that stuff? You know, the color ones. I've seen some young ladies with beautiful tattoos, and I always talk to them. And not because they're young ladies, but because it's interesting that how things have changed a little bit, and young people are getting tattoos, but they don't get the real low quality ones. They get the high artistic ones, and it's kind of interesting to me anyways. It's like a, I don't know what this is, an antique store or something. Main Street Antiques, but they do not look open. Tex Mark. Cool. Lot of interesting places. Now that brick looks like it might have been redone at some point. And I don't mean repointed either. I mean just the whole facade. But the theme here is bricks, you know, and I think that's kind of amazing. Now, here's another place that's being totally redone. It's so cool. They've got the HVAC, the drop ceiling, and doing some wiring. Man, there's tall ladders. So you see a lot of that going on down here. This is why the next one is being done. That's why when I saw it years ago, it was different. Now look at that building. My gosh, I don't know if the quality of bricks are different. Does anybody know anything about the quality of bricks? Does that make a difference? Is that why some of them last and some of them just fall apart? I know you're not supposed to pressure wash bricks, so if you do, you have to be very careful. I know that. Now if you look real careful, that building's been completely redone because all the windows up there are dual pane. I don't know whether they're office space or rentals. I know that's trendy now. You get, if you want to live in downtown, no matter where it is, you know, you can rent high-end places. Here's the pizza shop. It's kind of cool. I could imagine sitting out here and having a pizza. Obviously somebody just did. But look at the construction everywhere you go. Look at right there. I mean, it's like every block has something major going on. That's like when I was here. Okay, Mulligan's Gaming Pub. Somebody's come in and they've renovated this space. Kind of cool. Some gallery that apparently did not make it. You know, the first place that takes over the, you know, tries probably doesn't make it. But look at, that's a major renovation. They've got a chute so they can drop like one of these dumpsters, and that dumpster you can tell is like for heavy materials because the sides don't go up very high. So that's what this was all about here. They removed all the windows and stuff, and I think that's going to be very nice when it gets done. Well, another space. I mean, they got the lights on and stuff in there. Quad City Control Company. I don't know what that is, but Little Animals Brewery. Are they making fun of their clients? Little Animals? Okay. And so what do we have here? Let's go ahead and we'll cut out this section. That's obviously in the process of renovation. Now, the question is, upstairs, was that housing or was that offices originally? I know it's all mixed now probably, but and people are willing to pay. Well, these are kind of interesting buildings here too. Let's see if I can get across without getting a ticket for jaywalking. Here we go. Here's my chance to try anyways. Oh, Bernina. My wife's into that kind of stuff. Okay. So, a little bit of the old, a little bit of the new, a little bit of the practical, a little bit of the trendy. It's all here. Cake buds. Cake that satisfies your buds. Yeah, you have a lot of this. Now, of course, across the street, that's a new strip center. There might be an old building down there too, but a lot of that's just a new strip center. Now, I've been down over there. There's a music store down in that direction. And here we have an old building. See, there's your train tracks right there. That's probably why that building was there. Everything had to be close to the train tracks. So look at that. It's kind of cool, huh? I know it's a little funky now. You got to get by that. But look at the brick behind it. I mean, that hasn't been replaced. That's just in darn good shape. And I think it's because the quality of the bricks, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's been replaced. I think maybe it's been pressure washed and pointed. But that's about it. So how old are these buildings? Here we have 410. Let's find 410. I don't know what this street is. Remember that. We can check that one out. 408. Well, that's easy enough to go down to. Not exactly sure what this is down here. Oh, South Rome. So it's 408 and 410 South Rome. We can search that up and see how old those buildings are. Here's 300. It's 300 North Rome. If anybody gets a kick out of checking out those things, you can go do an online search and find out. But I know they're old. I just don't know how old. Somewhere after the 1880s. We'll go down one more street. .257 North Main Street. Okay, now there's a building. Why does it say, this is interesting, why does it say 1939 on that corner, and over here it says 1920? If somebody has an idea what's going on there, I'd appreciate that. Okay, you guys, this GoPro makes the things farther away, but that says 1920, and the other one says 1939. Maybe that'd be an interesting one to look up. Okay, now here is the church on Market Street. I think that would be interesting too. And what's that building down there? Okay, let's go check that one out, because that's actually got some cool writing on it. And says you don't go. We're going to go this way because it says we can. These things are killer for bicycles. A lot of communities don't have those anymore. They just have the gentle roll-up ones, kind of like that. Okay, we can cross. We will. Yeah, I can't believe. Now that's a really old building. And yet, look at that roof line. It's dead solid straight. Solid foundation, solid walls. It isn't going anywhere. Okay, we got something interesting here, I hope. Samuel Cole Williams, 1864 to December 14th, 1947. Okay, he's a teacher, attorney, all kinds of stuff. The Justice of the State Supreme Court. Well, that's pretty cool. Did he live here? Is that what this is? It almost looked like a government building, maybe. Well, it's a public library now. Well, I don't know if it is now. Those doors don't look like they've been used. Let's walk up. I see a pencil. Maybe it is being used. No, door's locked. Trains on both sides. You have train tracks on this side, train tracks on the other side. Like I said, there used to be 3. Now they did away with one of them. One of them was called the Tweetsy Trail. Well, it wasn't called that at the time, but they used to have a train on it called the Tweetsy because they used to tweet. And all the bridges and everything were still good because they were in fact well made. Everything, you know, a lot of the stuff around here was well made. So the train no longer had a use. People weren't using it, I think in the 40s or 50s, and they stopped it. And then about 20 years ago, I think, they just took up all the tracks, and James and I took our bicycles down there one time, our e-bikes, and went from Johnson City to Elizabethton. But you can go farther than that. Okay, so here we have it. This is basically where we started at the old church. You know, I hope you find this type of video interesting because I enjoy doing them. It's a lot of fun to walk around and stuff and have a good time. So if you would like to see more of these, I plan on traveling all over the place. In fact, I'm going to be a long ways away pretty quick. And although I won't be able to bring one of my vintage cars with me on this trip, I could certainly do it on another one, but I think I'm going to give you possibly, just thinking about it the last day or so, I haven't finally decided yet, maybe you'd like to see some gold mines or towns of the gold mines. You know, can't get you in the gold mines because, hey, you know, they're dangerous, but and a lot of them are closed now. It's hard to reopen a gold mine if you close it. If you keep it open, that's pretty good. That's okay. But once it's closed, like there's some mines that I know of that were closed in the 50s. On the West Coast, it takes 13 government agencies, I've been told, to open up a gold mine that's been closed. Now, when I say 13 government agencies, I mean approval of 13 government agencies. So that's hard to do. But here, I'm going to sign it off. Until next time, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've had a good time. You know, it's about 80 degrees here. So it's, you know, this time of year in Tennessee, you can get all kinds of weather. You can get 50 degrees and below. You can get 80. It's the luck of the draw. Tomorrow it's supposed to rain. That's one of the reasons why I chose to do this today. Hey, thank you. Subscribe if you think you'd like it. And thumbs up if you think it's worth it, and a comment if you just really want to say something, you want to do a little research on some of these buildings for me and see how old some of them are. I think that would be bloody well cool. If you have any other comments, or maybe it's a town that you think that you'd like to see me go to, I have some plans for you in the next couple of months that are going to be interesting. I'm going to try to upload one a week. I don't know yet. Got to see how that goes, but that's my goal. I'm going to try to do one a week. So hang in with me, and let me know what you think. If you think I've done a bad job, let me know. Maybe I can correct it. Maybe you can tell me what I've done wrong. Okay? Take it easy. You have a great day. Thank you so very much.